Hello and welcome to our commentary for Dungeons and Dragons, a film that I think came out in the year 2000.
Yes.
But I thought it came out in 1994 in my
looks like
memory.
it.
Well, that was the weird thing for me watching this. It looks so dated. And that's the first time I've said that about a movie from like 2000 on.
Yeah.
Because this looks like something from like the early to mid 90s.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this movie? I saw this film in the theater. That might be the most shameful thing I've ever admitted.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
I'm a man that played Dungeons and Dragons in high school quite a bit.
I have something more shameful. I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons in high school, but I did see this movie multiple times in the theater.
Multiple times?
I had a mild obsession when this movie came out. I had an obsession with it because I just thought it was the fucking funniest thing.
Okay.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I mean D&D, it's a game in a way, and it's like the Battleship movie. Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
Where it's like it's an idea that is completely incompatible with making a movie out of. So all you can really do is just make a fantasy movie, which is what they do with this.
Well, it's it's boilerplate. It's so the plot is so unimaginative and lame.
I don't know if I've ever had this conversation with you before, but here's what I would have done if I were making a Dungeons and Dragons licensed movie. I'd have had like a framework be like actual kids playing a Dungeons and Dragons game, and then you keep cutting in like Princess Bride style. You know, every now and then you cut back to reality, and it's just the kids playing the game, and then they come up with crazy ideas, and then you go into the fantasy version of what they're doing at the tabletop.
Only if it had a never-ending story-esque weight to it, because that's another movie this reminds me of. That when Thora Birch is walking around, she reminds me
she's
of...
She's the childlike
yeah,
empress.
yeah,
Yes.
And so that
crossed with Queen Amidala.
Queen Amidala, right? Unless the real kids' lives were in danger, that wouldn't hold much water.
Okay.
It would become like lame after a while.
You could do it like Never Ending Story though, where it's like, oh, the game is real, which is what, Jumanji.
That's a Jumanji
that kind of
thing. I don't know.
There's plenty of other movies you could rip off aside from all the ones that this movie rips off.
Well,
you can rip off the Saturday morning cartoon for Dungeons and Dragons, which is far better than this, by the way.
I don't think I ever even knew that existed.
Oh yeah, it was great. Teenagers get on a fantasy-themed amusement park ride, but it ends up actually taking them to the Dungeons and Dragons world.
Oh.
And then there's this little tiny magical dungeon master that guides them through adventures as they're trying to get home.
I don't remember this show.
And they all have the different classes, like the rogue and the fighter and the magician. And they have their special weapons they're granted.
There's a not a sequel, but another Dungeons and Dragons.
There is a sequel. It was made for like sci-fi, or it was a made-for-cable movie. The only returning character from this movie is the guy with the blue lips.
Oh,
but they didn't give him blue lips in it because they realized that was stupid.
That was a terrible choice.
Can we talk about the lighting here too? The lighting in all these forest scenes where they just have giant lights blaring at the trees.
First-time director.
Yeah, I mean you got to have some light in the woods, of course, but it's almost overexposed in the background.
Jay, they could only get Don Dohler.
And all these locations are starting to look the same to me now. They just go from one room of people in Renaissance fair costumes to another. And here he's like, nice. But what's he talking about? They're just in a room.
Lots of people to pickpocket from, Jay.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's a thing you do in Dungeons and Dragons.
But I don't think that's what they have a goal at this point. They're trying to find, what's his face? Richard O'Brien.
Or
maybe they just happen to run into him when they're here. I don't know.
Now, there's so many MacGuffins, I lost track.
Now she joins up with them, the elf.
And doesn't do anything.
Nobody does anything. It's like they knew they had to put in all these side characters because that's Dungeons & Dragons. You go on quests with people, but then they didn't have anything for him to do, so they constantly just stay back while Ridley does everything.
And he's the most boring character.
Yeah.
Well, you need a thief. You need an elven warrior. You need a dwarf.
And in this movie, they don't need them.
But they should all work together using their different skill sets to accomplish goals, rather than just Ridley does everything himself.
Now, this is fucked up. This is so violent. This is so serious and violent.
Yeah.
After Marlon Wayans, this is like, imagine if Well, I know a lot of people would like to see Jar Jar Binks get violently killed, but like a goofy character like that, where then all of a sudden we completely switch tones and it's this incredibly serious, violent death.
Like Gizmo getting torn to pieces.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like, why would you make this decision?
They wanted to get Marlon Wayans out of the movie.
This wasn't in the original script. Thank God we filmed the movie in order. We can just kill him.
Give him motivation to really hate this bad guy.
I mean, I understand from a storytelling perspective why you do this, but you don't have Marlon Wayans be a cartoon character up until this point.
Right.
This is so tonally weird.
It is.
I think this was Thora Birch's first movie after American Beauty.
Do all these people have the same agent?
Not anymore.
Who's no longer working?
I think Jeremy Irons said something about he just bought a house or something. Like, that's why he did this movie.
Oh, yeah.
To pay off his house.
I wonder how much some of these actors got paid. Jeremy Irons could command a decent salary, I'm sure, based on his name. But like the guy who played Ridley, what did he get? Like $14,000? Like, how much?
Yeah, I mean, he was an actor in the 90s, but he wasn't like a name.
Yeah.
Marlon Wayans is a bigger name than him.
I guess you're kind of rolling the dice. Like, maybe taking a low payday for this. Oh, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
It's going to be big. It's
your
going to be
it's your opportunity.
there's going to be
Yeah, this
sequels.
isn't an opportunity for Jeremy Irons, but it's an opportunity for Ridley.
Yes. The younger actors.
I do wonder, like, if Jeremy Irons just did this for a paycheck, like, why did he give it his all? Like, what is his performance? I don't even get it.
Hamming it up.
But
He's just having fun.
do you think it's just him fucking around?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad he did. It's
I
the best stuff in the movie, but it's so ridiculous.
I think his attitude is, I don't give a shit about this. This is stupid. I'm just going to have fun with it, and I'm going to play this completely over the top.
I guess.
And boy, that's fun.
You would think he'd be worried about embarrassing himself, though, with how over the top he is.
He got his house paid off, and everyone's going to forget about this movie, and he's still going to be Jeremy Irons after this.
That's true. That's true.
Did you guys ever watch Flight of Dragons?
I don't know what that is.
It's a Rankin Bass
I may have.
cartoon.
I may have. It was when I was really young, yeah.
Oh. No, I don't know.
I think it might have been a made-for-TV movie.
I think all that Rankin Bass stuff was made for TV.
Yeah, it wasn't a theatrical release because there's commercial breaks in it, but they go through like dragon logic a lot about how they fly, why they're able to fly, why they hoard treasure, how they breathe fire, all this like interesting stuff. It's a terribly made cartoon.
But it's far more interesting than this.
It's far more interesting than this. And it is kind of like you said. It's Jack Tripper, John
Ritter?
John Ritter does the voiceover of the main character.
I'm going to say I've definitely seen this now, yeah. It's coming back to me.
He's like a loser who owns a pawn shop, and he invented his own board game that's like Dungeons and Dragons, and he gets sucked into it. But yeah, there's a couple of bad wizards, and it explains mythology more than using it as a background, which is kind of what this does.
1 year away from Lord of the Rings.
I like how all of them fire magic missiles and they all just miss. and okay, so they said the Empress Thora Birch she commands a dragon army.
Yeah.
And just sends them to attack Jeremy Irons and the whole council? Because those are
Jeremy Irons' character doesn't have the dragon controlling rod.
I know.
And your movie needs to have the epic dragon conclusion, so they're just going to have the childlike Empress launch all the dragons instead.
Yeah.
So they can have their CGI battle.
Yeah, we even cut to her. She's riding one of the dragons, and we don't see her, like, saddle up or prepare for this. It just cuts to her on a dragon.
But why does she decide to do an all-out attack on the entire government?
Well, now she's questioning
Because the government voted to have her relinquish the dragon staff.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so she has her own, like, like dragon rod there.
She's controlling. Yeah, the staff that Ridley has controls red dragons,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those are the evil dragons because they're red.
Which
But she has a staff that only controls other dragons.
Which also isn't true.
None of this is true, Mike.
Mike, has your soul died? Like right now while watching
No,
this?
no. Like I said, this isn't Star Trek. Dungeons and Dragons is just a small.
Mike, this is far smarter than modern day Star Trek. And you know it.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Die!
Oh, here's where he has a ghost skeleton butt fucker.
You can't tell me this man isn't having fun. It's like Masters of the Universe. Frank Langella is just.
Oh yeah,
he's just having the time of his life.
he turns in a pretty good performance for what that movie is, though. Jeremy Irons is like pure camp.
That's true.
Yeah, Frank Langella is a professional actor, and he took his job seriously, even though he was in a Masters of the Universe movie. Jeremy Irons is not taking this seriously, which is fine for what it is. It's just so out of step with everything else.
And you're listening to him.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Adios.